Hey everybody, good Wednesday morning. I want to talk about nitpickers this morning. We've all run across them. We all know what we're talking about when we say a nitpicker. Um, my morning post this morning over on Facebook is about just our interactions with people who are nitpickers, who find fault, complain, negative energies, all that kind of stuff. Nitpickers, most people in the South at least know what that is. But I had an incident yesterday where have y'all ever just kind of just give yourself permission to just lose it? Just like no holds barred, just lose it, say what you want to say. Don't care about any of it, just get it off your chest, explode, however you want to categorize it. I had a thing yesterday. I haven't worked at the shop in weeks. I've been doing other things, and I really don't go over there too much anymore. But I had a lady from a government office that called me, and she about 3 weeks ago, and started calling me. She said, "Well, we got this thing coming up, this event. It's a city of South Fulton." And she said, "I'm going to need 13 24 by 36 color posters mounted on foam board, and I won't be able to get them to you till like the day before. Is there any way you can turn them around quick?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that. We can do it in 3 or 4 hours, actually." And so anyhow, she sent over the file yesterday and said, "Is there any way I could have these by 12 o'clock tomorrow? I need them tomorrow." And I'm like, "Well, you probably can get them this afternoon." I'll just, and I was going by the shop, so I just figured Caleb's in there busy, and so it's a job I can do a couple hours. And so I printed them out on really good high-quality paper. They were mural drawings of, landscape drawings of Cedar Grove Community Center in South Fulton or whatever, and 13 of them. And I guess they was having a community event. They was going to set them in a conference room or something. So anyhow, I put them on really nice, thick poster paper, made sure the colors was beautiful, mounted each one of them on a 24 by 36 foam core board, and looked at every one of them in detail. Beautiful, not a flaw. Y'all, I'm 70 years old. I went to work for a blueprint shop when I was 16. I know what a good print looks like. And so anyhow, I have to run over to Staples and Office Depot on Ponce. And I called the lady and told her they were ready. Well, she sent a guy to pick them up. And so Caleb called me, and I'm over at Staples, and he's like, "Papa, this guy came in and looked at these prints, and he just stood up there for like 30 minutes looking at this one, looking at that one, putting that one back, looking at this one. Said he picked out 4 of them he said he didn't like, wanted me to reprint." I'm like, "What? What?" I said, "You ain't reprinting them?" He said, "Yeah, I went ahead and reprinted them." He said like he's in a hurry. He wanted them done over, 4 of them. And he said, "Papa, he's just weird, just like he's up there trying to find something wrong with every one of them." So I told him, I said, "Don't, Caleb," and my grandson, Caleb, he's very non-confrontational, which doesn't always, it's not the best quality for people to have. And I just say that, yeah, 90% of the time that kind of works, but that 10% of the time you need to just stand up and say, "No." And I told Caleb, I said, "Caleb, if it don't feel right, just don't do it. Just tell me. We don't care. Just go on somewhere else." So, but he's very non-confrontational, and I know that about him. I love that about him, but I wish sometimes he was a little more like me. Sometimes it pays to be an asshole. And I know some of you people disagree with that, but it's worked for me. And so anyhow, I told Caleb, I said, "Well, I'm heading back right now." I said, "I'll talk to him. I want to talk to this guy." And I said, because there's no reason he should have had any of those reprinted. So anyhow, I told Caleb, I said, "Just distract him until I get there if he shows up before I do." Boy, I'm coming up Boulevard, and I'm already right myself. I'm just in that frame of mind. I'm like, what the hell? This is bullshit. Bullshit. So I done got myself all worked up. So anyhow, so I go back to the shop, and I call the lady who sent it over. And I told her, I said, "Ma'am, as far as I'm concerned, I'm throwing all this in the dumpster. That guy that came in here that had us to print 4 of these over, what little bit of profit we would have made went in the toilet with that. And I said, there's nothing wrong with any of these. She said, oh, no, we got to have these. We got to have them tomorrow. I said, I don't care what you got to have. I said, he's going to come in here and piss me off because he's an absolute idiot is what he is. If he stood up here for 30 minutes trying to figure out. And y'all, here's the thing he didn't like about the 4. And it was in their file. On one end, they had a little white border around the renderings. On one side of 4 of the prints, there was like a 1/4 inch white edge to it. On the other side, there was an 1/8 inch white edge. Wasn't nothing we did. That's just the way their file was. And so he didn't like it. He said, those need to be even, those little white lines. Nitpickers. So anyhow, he left his phone there, so his phone's ringing. So she told me he wasn't coming back. She'd come to get him. But anyhow, he came back and to get his phone. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something. That is a bunch of goddamn bullshit that you just did in here. I said, come in here and take a small business. And because you was born with a thumb up your ass, that you go through life always trying to nitpick about every goddamn fucking thing that you can find in life about, because there's not one damn thing wrong with any of these. And Caleb should have told you to take your ass out of here and run you out of this store when you come in here up there trying to find some kind of something you can nitpick about on these plans. Because I done got myself all worked up. And Caleb told me, he said, Papa, I just wanted to wring out his $600. I just didn't want to lose the sale on this. I said, who gives a shit about $600? $600 ain't no money. Shit on $600. And so anyhow, the guy's kind of taken aback by it. And, and I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm an older white business owner. This is an African-American man. Not everything between white and black people is racism. There's a bunch of black people that's just as full of bullshit and nitpicking, ain't got nothing to do with racism. Same thing about gays and lesbians and homosexuals. Not everything that you have a conflict with about gay or lesbian people is homophobia. There's a lot of gay people and lesbian people, trans people also, they're just full of bullshit, And because you call them out on it, don't mean you're homophobic, don't mean you're racist. It's just life, y'all. And so anyhow, he said, well, I come from the school that the customer's always right. I told him, I said, go over to Home Depot and see how that's working for you. Go over to Office Depot and see how that customer's Starbucks, see how that's always working for you. I said, dude, you're living in the 1950s. I said, there ain't a goddamn fucking thing wrong with none of those things that you tried to find something wrong with. You just did that because you're that kind of person that has to go order coffee and send it back 2 or 3 times until they get your goddamn coffee right. I said, people like you just go through life just creating stress and bullshit for people, just regular people. You are goddamn nitpickers, what you are. And I told him, I said, I don't want your money. I don't give a shit. I'd get more satisfaction to throw all goddamn 13 of these in the dumpster and watch your ass walk out of here because I know you need these real bad to take back to have this event in the morning. And you being part of government, where are you going to get something else printed now since y'all always wait till the last damn minute? I said, you don't fool me one damn bit, but I'm fucking pissed off. You come in here and did this to him for no goddamn reason whatsoever. And I told him, I said, if you, and I always phrase it like this when I'm talking to somebody, I said, I bet if you call your wife or your husband and let me talk to them, and I would tell them, I'm like, is Carlos a nitpicker, which was the guy's name? I said, I bet they just busted out laughing and say, yeah, he's kind of a nitpicker. And yeah, I said, because they know you. He said, well, first off, it's a wife, because I believe marriage is between a man and woman. I said, and on top of that, you're a goddamn homophobe to go along with it, which makes me even like you less. You're a homophobic person, marriage. You're going to throw that in the midst of all this nitpicking, marriages between a man and a woman. What kind of bullshit are you? And so anyhow, that is classic Eddie William Sellers. He offered to pay for the additional 4. He offered this because he needed them. But y'all, you run across a lot of nitpickers in life. Piss me off. Piss me the fuck off.